Hello, my wonderful friends. Welcome back to r/ProRevenge, where you come to get your dose of satisfaction by listening to others get what they deserve. Guys, in this episode, OP's post is a pretty long one, and it's about getting back at a bad neighbor who won't pick up after their dog. Her dog craps on OP's patio multiple times, and she doesn't do a damn thing about it. And OP decides to get some pro-revenge on her. Guys, it's a pretty long story, so buckle up for the ride and enjoy the story. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Let's dive into it. My significant other and I were renting a ground floor unit at a really nice apartment complex. I wouldn't say it was a luxury apartment or anything, but our ground floor unit had a little patio off the back that led out to a really nice courtyard area with hammocks, a walking path, outdoor fireplace and seating area, etc. A lot of people walk their dogs out there or let their kids play in the grass, including us. We have a 1-year-old Cane Corso. We got her when we'd been living in the unit for about 2.5 months, and she was only 8 weeks at the time. She's a really good dog, and we trained her well. We could let her out to go potty, and she'd come right back, even if there were distractions, people, or dogs out. Then we'd go pick up her poop right away if she pooped. We kept a small step trash can outside, specifically for her poop bags, because we didn't want to throw them away inside, and the only outside trash cans were on the other side of the building. It was a really small trash can, like the kind you'd tuck into the bathroom between the toilet and the wall. This lady and her kid moved in on the ground floor in our building. No biggie. We ran into her one day carrying groceries, so my significant other held the door open for her. She seemed kind of Karenish, but was polite, and her kid, who was probably 10 to 11 years old, didn't look up from his phone. Whatever, that's pretty typical of kids these days. They also had a dog, a little black and white fluffy thing, super cute, but not trained very well. Don't know what kind of dog, but it was much smaller than our puppy. After about 2 weeks or so, we realized that there were dog turds in the grass right off our patio. We found out the hard way because my boyfriend stepped in it the first time. Luckily, he wasn't barefoot. They were clearly not our dog's turds, as 1, we always picked up her poop right after she went, and 2, they were very obviously from a small dog, not our 70-pound puppy. We'd been in the apartment for about 7 to 8 months at that point, and never had an issue, so we figured it was the entitled mother's little dog. I wrote her a polite note that basically was like, "Hey neighbor, we noticed that some of your dog's poops aren't being picked up and are right off our patio. Per the pet agreement we all have to sign, we all need to be picking up our own dog's poop each time they go. I'm sure it was an accident and you just didn't notice, so if you can make sure to do that going forward, we'd appreciate it. Your neighbors in unit number." She wasn't home, so I slipped it under the door and went back to my apartment. A couple hours later, this lady is banging on my door and gets really angry with me. She insists that it couldn't have been her dog, and how dare I assume. I felt really bad, and I apologized immediately. I said I didn't mean to offend her, and it must have been someone else. She told me to never bother her with crap like this again, and then she stormed off. I was like, okay. Not 3 days later, I was sitting on my patio with a book, enjoying the cool weather, when I see their little dog run out of their back door, with no one with it, and it comes over to me. I said hello to the pup because I love pups, and then it took a dump right on the patio. It then ran back home and scratched the door to be let in. I saw her kid slide open the door enough to let the dog in without coming outside to pick up the poop. I was annoyed because here I saw it with my own eyes that it was their dog and no one was even watching it when it was outside. So I grabbed a poop bag, picked up the poop, wrote another less polite note about her kid neglecting to watch the dog or to come check on it to see if it had pooped and picked up after it, and dropped the poop bag and the note on their patio right by their door. Then went back to my reading. The entitled mother was quicker to come by this time and stomped right up to me, waving the note around. She then stated that her kid was just a kid and probably forgot to check. I said I didn't care. Her kid was old enough to stand outside for 3 minutes and to come pick up the dog's poop. She said, well, there's no poop bags or trash cans on this side of the building, and she didn't feel comfortable making her kid walk all the way around the building for that. The next part is my own fault. In hindsight, I suggested that she put a trash can like mine on her patio and leave their own dog poop bags handy, like we do for our dog. She eyed our stuff, huffed some more, rolled her eyes, refused to do anything about the poop, and walked off. At this point, I was super annoyed. I stalked my patio door for the next couple of days as much as I could, just waiting. And sure enough, on day 2 in the evening, when I was about to give up, I see the puppy run outside towards my patio. I whipped out my phone, took some pictures of the dog outside alone, since that's not allowed, and then the dog pooping, and then took another phone recording an hour later of the poop still there, and timestamped all of them. Then I sent an email to the apartment office people, who were always pretty nice, and they responded quickly that they would give her a warning about it. And sure enough, this lady comes back again, to get mad and yell at me about how petty I was to report them to the office, and how they now had a $150 fine for not picking up their dog poop. It's worth noting that these fines were very rare. Poop prints were not used at this complex. In order for the office to fine someone for dog poop, they had to have proof that it was the specific tenant's dog's poop and that it wasn't picked up, hence the photos I'd taken and timestamped. I told her that I had tried to be nice about it with her twice before, and it was her own fault at that point for not abiding by the terms of the pet agreement that we all had to sign. She went off about how she's a single mom and works during the day and her precious baby can't be expected to pick up after their dog. I told her that a 10 or 11-year-old was plenty old enough to pick up after the dog, and if they weren't responsible enough, then maybe the kid should not be letting the dog out at all, and she should be the one to do it. Over the next couple of weeks, we didn't find any more dog turds off our patio, but we did notice our poop bags were depleting and our trash can filling up way more quickly than usual. I had my suspicions and wanted to test it. We had recently bought some small security cameras for inside of our apartment for different reasons, and I had my boyfriend set one up outside on the patio. We faced it where we could see our door and the trash can. Sure enough, the same evening my boyfriend set it up, I see the kid walk onto our patio, take a poop bag, walk out of the frame, and then come back to throw it in our trash can. Okay, so now I'm pissed, but also not trying to fight this lady or her kid. So I moved the poop bags to the inside door handle. The next morning, I hear someone knocking on the back patio door, and I go to see her kid standing there, looking annoyed. I didn't open the door. I just spoke loudly enough to ask what he needed. He demanded a poop bag for his dog's poop. I said I'm sorry, but these are our poop bags for our dog, and that they weren't free for anyone else to use. The kid started demanding a poop bag, saying his mom told him that he could use ours, slapping his hands on the glass a few times, and finally screaming at me that he's telling his mother on me. I said fine, go ahead, I'll tell her the same thing. And sure enough, a few minutes later, his mom is standing on my patio, also demanding a poop bag for her dog's poop. I denied her a bag and asked her to please step off my patio as she was making me feel unsafe and uncomfortable. She told me I was a bratty child, I'm 24, and she demanded that I let her use my poop bags as I'd already told her she could before. I said no, I told you to get some yourself and do what I do. Keep them close by and put your own trash can out on your own patio, not use the bags I buy with my own money for my own dog and then fill up my tiny trash can with your dog's poop. I pointed out that she could use a plastic shopping bag if she didn't want to buy her own poop bags, or she could use the bags the complex provided on the other side of the building. She kept going off on me, and I finally told her if she didn't leave my patio, I'd call the police, as she was harassing me. She acted like she was gonna call my bluff, but then my boyfriend got home and walked up behind me to ask what was going on, and she ended up dragging her kid away, again leaving the poop in the grass off my patio. So once she was gone, I took another time-stamped picture of the dog poop, downloaded the footage from my security camera of her kids stealing my poop bags and throwing them in my trash can, and the footage from them that morning yelling at me and demanding my bags and my denying them, and emailed all of it to the apartment management. I told them she made me feel unsafe and uncomfortable in my own home, that she and her child felt entitled to come onto my patio and take my belongings. I also went outside, picked up her dog's poop, looked in the trash can on my patio, and pulled out the bags with her dog's poop. I went and opened all the bags and dumped the poop straight onto her patio right outside of her door. On Monday, I heard back from the office lady who said she would take care of it. By Friday, there was a moving truck, and the lady and her kid were moving out. I'm pretty sure they were evicted, or at the very least, urged to move out before a formal eviction process was initiated. After talking to some of our other much friendlier neighbors, it turns out that we weren't the only ones who had been complaining about her. They'd only lived in the complex for like 2 to 3 months before they made so many enemies that they were kicked out. Sometimes I think that I should feel bad for playing a part in them getting evicted, but honestly, I can't bring myself to feel guilty about it. Not my fault that she was a lazy, entitled bitch who couldn't even be asked to get a shopping bag to pick up her dog's crap. I never heard from her about the turds I dropped on her patio, but I like to think that she stepped in them without looking and knew better than to come bitch to me about it. Sorry, not sorry. Also, I'm sure they were given more than a week to vacate, as those were the tenancy laws here, but she packed up and left like a bat out of hell. I guess she didn't want to stay somewhere that she was clearly seen as an enemy. I don't know for sure if she was evicted, or if she was just asked to leave or abide by the lease or what. Office can't give out that type of info, and she and I weren't exactly on speaking terms for her to give me the scoop about it. My friends, as a pet owner, it drives me absolutely crazy when people don't pick up after their dogs. Letting your dog continuously do it on someone's property and not cleaning up after it after being told multiple times. That lady definitely had to go. She was a really crappy neighbor. Oh, get it. I just had to fit that in there, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the story today, and if you missed the last episode of r/ProRevenge, you gotta go check it out. OP's girlfriend decides to steal from his bank account, and she denies everything, even when he has proof. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.